And by that point, my unhealthy obsession with the Jews had turned into curiosity. So I decided, that's what I'm going to do for a living and now understand the world much better. And they owe all of this to learning Jewish history, to the Hebrew language, and I want to continue doing that. So I went, and now I'm going to show you some of the professors I have here. The professor of Hebrew.
يعني هي في الدم في عيد الفصح بيعملوا نوع من انواع الفطير بيكون مختلط بالدم.
دم حقيقي؟
دم بشري.
بيجيبوه منين؟
بيجيبوه منين؟ معرفش والله.
This is the national Egyptian TV. This is the government-operated TV channel. I was horrified. I went to college to learn Hebrew, to find out, first of all, I know Hebrew better than the professors. Not just that I know Hebrew better, that most of what happens in college is a more articulation of the anti-Semitism that just goes around in all of the culture. Those are the intellectuals. Those are the thinkers. Those are PhD professors. Egypt is a country like many other countries in the Middle East, and it's not in the worst state. It's a poor country. It's a broken economic system, broken education system, 25% general illiteracy rate, much higher amongst women. People sit in front of the TV and they see this, and he's the expert. Who would know better about Jews? And they believe what he's saying. Here is another professor. I had to take maybe 4 classes with him. He hated me, and he hurt my grades badly. His name is Amr Alem. And every time I see him, I feel pain that I had to flee my country and to seek refuge. And he's now got promoted to the head of the department. He taught me modern Hebrew literature.
مسألة العنف في الشخصية الإسرائيلية أو الروح العدوانية في الشخصية الإسرائيلية هي موجودة يعني في الجينات اليهودية. على مدار التاريخ منذ 48 وحتى وقتنا هذا ونحن نشاهد الجندي الإسرائيلي وهو يصوب البندقية في صدر الأطفال وفي صدر النساء وفي صدر الشباب
التنكيل
الفلسطيني ثم يتصورون ويلتقطون الصور مع مع الجثث الفلسطينية حتى أن هناك بعض المشاهد التي كنا نراها وهم يقطعون رؤوس بعض الفلسطينيين ثم يفرحون ويسعدون بالتصوير مع هذا.
So it's basically telling people that Israel is ISIS, right? Like that's what. So it was extremely difficult. My sadness and my disappointment and my parents and my imams and my school became angry. I was angry at everybody that this is what's going on. And I can't even challenge it. If I try to challenge it at school, I get threatened by the professors that they can affect my future. Mein Kampf was even read, reading in class about Hebrew, and read as a great text. It remains a very popular book, unfortunately. If you walk downtown Cairo, there are a lot of vendors for newspapers. You will find them carrying, usually, Mein Kampf and Particles of Zion. I'm sorry. And then I started to look at the culture in general. And I found that there's nothing real. This is a quote from Bernard Lewis. He said, while visits to Arab bookshops or to religious bookshops in Turkey reveal a wide range of anti-Semitic literature, any kind of corrective is lacking. The Arab reader seeking guidance on such topics as Jewish history, religion, thought, and literature will find virtually nothing. And that was my experience. There was nothing. If I didn't know Hebrew and English and I had free access to the internet, I would have found nothing. I wanted to break the stereotypes. I wanted to break the anger, so I decided to do something very daring and to visit the Israeli embassy, to meet an actual Jew, an actual Israeli. I wanted to visit the Israeli Academic Center, which is part of the embassy. It was supposed to be part of the diplomatic mission. And it took me a long time to take that courageous decision because I was breaking a taboo, one of the greatest taboos in the Arab culture. And I went there, and I met my first Israeli ever, my first Jew. He was a security guard. And he was shockingly 100% human. It was kind of funny too. And it was amazing. I had a great time there. They gave me free books, they gave me newspapers, they gave me all what I wanted. And I walked out euphoric. Absolutely euphoric. I just broke, and you can't imagine how it felt. It's just like being out of the closet. I felt that I'm finally free. I broke the taboo. I saw a Jew, I saw an Israeli. I made that connection, that human, real connection. Just as I stepped out of the building, I get stopped by Egyptian state security. Egyptian state security is the equivalent of the American NSA. Did you see any Jews there? Did you talk to any Israelis? Did you talk to anybody? How dare you come here? Didn't you know that Egyptians are banned from here? I tried to, bullshit my way out, basically. I just wanted to see what those pigs are saying about us. I wanted to see what those pigs are writing. They didn't believe me, but they just questioned me for 15 minutes and let me go. And then my friends started telling me that they were receiving phone calls from state security asking them about me. Now, state security is terrified. They have a horrendous reputation of what they do to dissidents and activists. And then I received a call from them from a blocked number. Hello, we're state security. We don't want you to visit the academic center again. We don't want you to see Israelis. We don't want you to talk to Israelis. We're not happy about the passion that you're pursuing this with. We don't want you to read any of this. I started to push back. That was my first confrontation with authority ever, and then they started to really threaten me on the phone. You know what we don't do to people? Don't become a problem for us. And then I tell them, okay, I'm going to do what you do, and they hang up the phone. And then I sit down and realize that I can't stop. Learning Hebrew became who I am. I'm not Jewish. I'm not converting. I'm not Israeli. But now I understand reality. I understand the world better. I am who I am because of Hebrew. I stopped believing in Islam, something that can lead to your end. You can get this penalty in 13 different Muslim countries for leaving Islam because of this. I'm much a different person than the person that my parents were trying to raise because of learning Hebrew. I can't stop doing this. So I went online and I wrote what happened. It was picked up by Ynet. It's a major Israeli news outlet. They sent me an email. They interviewed me in the email, and then they published what happened. And if you still Googled it, you'll find it. Egyptian student, Hebrew, Israeli Academic Center, Cairo. It will be the first result because there's only one. And all what I said, I didn't bash Islam, I didn't bash Egypt, I didn't bash the government. I was really a kid then. All what I said, I love Hebrew, I love learning about Israel, I wish things were normal. 3 days later, state security, they come to my house, they arrest me and my family. They send us to an interrogation center, me and my father. They sent us to an interrogation center. My father was shocked. He had no idea what was going on in my life. He just thought I was in college. And then they confronted us. My father was ashamed. I was ashamed that I got my father in trouble. Kept us for hours, asked us questions, interrogated me on everything. My father kept apologizing. They eventually let us go. And then my family did what you call here in the US an intervention. What's wrong with you? So I came out. I'm not really Muslim anymore. I don't believe this about Christians. I don't believe this about Jews. I don't believe this about women. And I remember how incredulous my father was, hearing all of this. He could never have imagined that this would have happened from his own son, in his own house. My brother, who's actually now a religious imam, tried to attack me physically, and my uncle. They kicked me out of the house, and that was the end of my relationship with my family. That was in the beginning of 2010. The rest of the year were quite a turbulent year with a lot of interrogations from state security. And by the end of 2010, I was arrested by Egyptian military intelligence and being interrogated on the basis of being a spy, a Mossad agent, a Zionist agent, and all of that. At the beginning, I was really shocked. I was profoundly disoriented. I didn't know what was going on. I was just being me, right? And then I discovered that they genuinely believed I was a spy. They genuinely thought there is no way that he thinks that on his own. There is no way that these are his ideas. He must be paid. He must be a spy. The worst 2.5 months of my life, beatings every day, torture. You Jew lover, who are those Jews who you love? Who's going to save you now? I thought I was never going to go out. They told me, you'll never get out of here. But in December 2010, he released me. They told me, we'll never want to hear about this. We'll never want to read about this. Just get out of here. I was devastated. I wanted to stay away from everything. I didn't want to do anything. But then a month later, the Arab Spring started. A big protest movement started in Cairo. And in 18 days, it ousted the president. So I joined. I was in Tahrir Square, the center of the revolution, because I believed the only chance that I can live freely is to change the government, is to get a new regime that can tolerate me learning the wrong language and talking to the wrong people. Things were euphoric. Everybody felt promising because of, there's a reason they called it the Arab Spring. There was a lot of optimism in the beginning, but soon enough, the Muslim Brotherhood, an Islamist political organization, started to come to power. Anti-Semitism became worse. There was an